I think in business, people always want to know exactly where they're going on everything, and they don't want to make decisions until they feel 100%. And the bottom line I would say that I've learned is always progress over perfection, because really good business people, and when you read, they start and then they pivot.
Today's guest is Liz Grad Murphy, Chief Strategy and Operations Officer for Lackawanna Medical Group, LMG Wellness, and LMG Cosmetics. After 15 years leading HR and business operations at Fortune 500 companies, Liz left corporate America in 2021 to continue her father's life's work and help grow one of Northeastern Pennsylvania's longest-standing medical groups. She brings her passion for culture, high-performing teams, and whole-person care into everything she does. And in this episode, Liz shares what it means to blend business strategy with family legacy while building a healthier, more confident community. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
That's a great start.
Yeah,
I love
I
it.
think
Start
so.
with the tough questions
Yeah.
first. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Thanks for coming, really. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for
Yeah.
inviting me.
Absolutely.
So as somebody who does not know anything about you, other than I roughly know, I read your bio, but tell us about what you're doing right now, where you're working. It's a family business. Tell us about that first.
Sure. So right now I'm currently the Chief Strategy and Operations Officer for Lackawanna Medical Group, which is known as Lackawanna Medical Group. It's also known as LMG Cosmetics, and most recently as LMG Wellness. So my father's been a practicing physician in Scranton for over 40 years. And 4 years ago, I never thought I would end up in my family business. Lots of pros and cons, guys, lots of pros and cons. But here I am. And it's been a ride.
You're doing some really great things, some really different things in this area by combining wellness, cosmetics, and physicians. And I just can't wait to hear your whole vision for the organization, but also what drives you?
It's a deep question.
I know. Wow, we're
Yeah.
starting out like
Yeah, we're
really
jumping
we're
right
not
in, but I'm
warming up. But
dying
it's
to know.
Maria. I should know. You're
You
going
know.
deep right away.
I
You're
know.
diving right in. Swan dive.
You've known me long enough.
I think what drives me is purpose. I feel like I need to get out of bed every day and feel like I'm contributing in some way. I love to contribute to a business, but I also just love to contribute to other people's careers and making a difference for them. I think that's one of the things people always talk about. How do you make money? And I think it's really about what problem are you solving, or what is the purpose of your business, right? How do you serve? And if you can figure out how you can serve, or what's a problem that people really need help with, to me, that's a good way of thinking about it. Obviously, my father's been a physician. He's been a gastroenterologist for 40 years. He has patients galore, and he is such a compassionate, wonderful man. He doesn't care who you are. That's from his Pittsburgh roots. He'll just take the best care of you. But I think for us, what we do every day is we help people build healthier, fuller, more confident lives. And we're grounded in medicine. Then about 8 years ago, we started a cosmetics practice, which is all of the aesthetics, Botox, fillers, skincare, you name it. And then 2.5 years ago, I thought, we need something in between. Oftentimes, people go to their primary care or internal medicine when they're sick, right? An acute illness or a chronic illness. But everyone's living so much longer. How do we feel our best? Not just look our best, right? And not be treated for our conditions or manage a condition, but how do we optimize our health? And so that's where LMG Wellness was born. And right now, we offer hormone therapy for men and women. We offer weight loss for men and women. We offer sexual health for men and women, and just overall wellness. That was a really long answer.
I think it's wonderful, though. I have full body goosebumps because I feel like everybody needs this.
Bob's asleep, but I'm glad you got it.
No, not even
No,
close.
I'm really inspired.
I'm far from falling asleep. Immediately, I go back to thinking one of my favorite things to do is when I do have one of those late nights we were just talking about,
Yeah.
I sit on like Instagram, YouTube or something. I just keep watching things and I get stuck in algorithms. A lot of my algorithms are heavy in the topics you're talking about. Just all about overall wellness, just feeling your best and all that stuff. And I'm also very acutely aware that what on Instagram and Reels aren't necessarily exactly what it's like in reality. And I just found out a year ago that about all the filters.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I look quite like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's nice. But I do want to ask you some further, if we could just back up, because what really stood out to me was when we were talking about, I never thought I'd be in the family business.
Yes.
So if I could just back up for a second on that, from a guy who started going down a path and I'm like, I think I want to build my family business with my brother and my father, and then it didn't work out.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of
Especially
like
with
that
family,
Will
yeah.
Smith superhero movie where you find out you're better apart
Yeah.
than if you're together.
Yep.
We're still very close, but we don't work together. And
Mhm.
but now, in the same vein, before we recorded here, I was talking about some of my family members coming into Stonehouse, and that's a whole different outlook on it. So what was it? What was that path you walked? Where were you originally before you came back to this?
Yep. Born in Clark Summit, and I graduated from Abington Heights, and then I went to the University of Pittsburgh. And then after that, I had a friend who's been super duper successful now get me a job at Cigna. And so I started at Cigna Insurance, and it was horrific because I was working in underwriting, and that's just not my skill set. But long story short, it was great because I just got a big brand name on my resume. And then anyway, I moved out to California because I had a friend living out there, and I fell into staffing. And I was in staffing for both Spherion and Apple One, both public and privately traded companies. And then I started in talent acquisition with JPMorgan Chase. And one of the really cool things I did that taught me a lot there is I helped develop our Chase Leadership Development Program, which was a rotational program for students. And so I would recruit both from MBA students or undergrad students to come and work at Chase. And then from there, I ended up at Prudential. And I started in with our chief customer officer. We built out an organization that ended up around 500 people. It wasn't just me, but I had, of course, a team. And then I managed some technology recruiting, which I'll say to anyone, I'm the worst person in technology, but just put yourself out of your comfort zone. And the last thing I did for Prudential was I was a talent catalyst. So I went in to different areas of the business and I said, where are we today? And from a people, process, technology perspective, where do we need to be tomorrow? And how do we bridge the gap? So it was all very corporate experience. And so when my dad asked me to think about this, at first I was like, no way, Jose. But I was part of the Great Resignation of COVID, and I talked to some of the women mentors of mine who I just adore. And I thought, you know what, if I can help my father here and my family for some years, that's going to be more meaningful than anything I could do in a corporation.
Wow.
So that's the whole crazy journey.
Talent
That's a great
catalyst.
one.
Yeah.
I really like that too.
I know.
That's an interesting phrase. Yeah, I feel like you should be doing
Catalyst
that
for
every day.
change. Everyone hates change.
They do.
Except for me.
Yeah, same.
I love change.
I love
I've
it
learned to
too.
love change. I don't
Yes.
love it,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I know.
I always tell folks a good example of that is whenever your laptop fails.
Uh-huh.
At our office, everything's backed up. So if your laptop goes kaput, within 24 hours, you'll have a new laptop and it'll all be back to the way we are. But it's got a little bit of nuance. Buttons are in different spots, has new features. You're like, hey, I hate this. And then 2 weeks later, you don't want to ever lose that laptop again. It's now your bestie.
Exactly.
So like change can be good if it's in the
can be
right
good.
direction, if it's done well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that people underestimate. And is change management is a real thing. Like you have to think about in businesses when you're going to change something, how you manage that change and how you communicate. So it's pretty funny because my family was like, cut the corporate BS. The lingo from corporate America, they were like, will you just talk in plain English?
You're back in Clark Summit.
Yeah.
So when your dad called and had that conversation, when you were the No Way Jose conversation, I guess, he must have been sharing a vision, right? That with you about what he was looking to do and what he was looking that maybe you could be a part of.
So here's the reality. Physicians, my father's a physician. And so medical groups, when you have physicians, that's their practice. And business is a different skill set. Not to say that my father isn't good at business. Depends on the day. We get into it a lot. He'll be the first to tell you. I think if I was a nurse practitioner, we'd get along phenomenally.
Yeah.
We can bump heads. What was the question?
The question was,
sidetracked.
what was it that made you lift out of Prudential? Was it the vision he shared and you're
Our
like, hey, I can get behind it?
cosmetics practice was really booming.
Okay.
And there really wasn't a plan because it was all happening so quickly. Now, I will say my brother also works at our family business, and I have a sister that works there as well. And he does really like all of the back end operations. He's, like our back end operations officer. And thank goodness my father always had him because he really kept the business, the wheels on the bus. So I just thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a shot. It was my gut. I go with my gut and my intuition a lot.
That's ironic since you guys are professing to show people how to get gut health.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you had a healthy gut. You made the right choice. And
Yeah.
I was looking at your website and I looked at the services you offer. And it's super intriguing. And you touched on some of them already. The one that really stood out to me was like a couples wellness.
Yeah.
What's that about? So you're basically treating husband and wife at the same time? Or is it like a couples massage? I'm sure it's not that.
No, it's not. So this is amazing. And it really happened this way is you don't know what there's a need for until you start the process and then things pop up. And what we found happening was either a husband or a wife would come in either for hormone therapy or sexual health or weight loss. And then we would start the journey with them and they were having great results and they were feeling really good. And then, of course, they were like, let me get my husband or my wife involved in this. And I think it's been great because in things like weight loss or, like your sexual health, it's been great because you're able to, they still have their own providers. It's not like we deal with them as a couple, but we're able to help both.
Yeah, because that brings it back to the environment. If you're making changes in a silo, that's easier than bringing it back into the environment. And so if your partner is doing the same thing, is the same mindset, encouraging each other, it's just like a win all the way around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. It's been really rewarding for the providers. Super rewarding.
When you say for the providers, can you explain what that means?
Sure. I'm all on the business end, but obviously we provide a service, right? We have Dr. David Horvath, who's our medical director of cosmetics and wellness, who we're so lucky to have. He's a board certified plastic surgeon, and I met him at a conference in Philadelphia because he still has a business on the main line as well in aesthetics. But I got him to take a chance at coming to Scranton some. So we're super excited to have him and all of his thought leadership around both cosmetics and wellness. And then Teresa Germano is our nurse practitioner, and she practiced internal medicine for a long time. And then she really wanted to get into this because she found a few things. Weight loss, it's a challenge for so many women. Hormones, a challenge for so many women. Sexual health, a challenge for so many women. But when you come in and you have 20 minutes or 30 minutes with your providers in a primary care or internal medicine setting, it really needs to be a way more in-depth process. So our wellness is Concierge, but those are our two providers and they're both excellent. We're so lucky to have both of them.
Great.
Yeah. So
I cut in front of you. Sorry.
no, Liz, LMG has been a client of Inspired for a few years. We really got to know the business from the inside out. And I have to say, I can see how you've brought all of your background into this business and really I've seen it take shape, and I've seen your vision get created and then clarified, and then it's just grown into this beautiful thing that is so integrated with each other. I'm also a client, of course.
Nice.
And that she's not kidding. The team is outstanding. You just feel so comfortable there and so well taken care of. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want a place where we provide exceptional care, we're compassionate, we're inclusive, but yet we're down to earth. You can come in and you can talk about anything. Really, when it's all of our vision. It takes obviously a team. To me, the best things are accomplished in teams. And we are getting there. We have a long way to go, but we're getting there. And that's what's fun.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it any other way, right?
No, I wouldn't.
We always want to be improving and serving and giving.
Big changes shake things up, for worse, but sometimes, I dare say, for the better. A major life or business transition is the perfect time to uncover and rewire old thought patterns and help you get to your next level of success. As a success coach, I like to take my clients beyond the bottom line and help them turn uncertainty into possibility and forward momentum. If you're ready to take this time of transition and turn it into possibility, clarity, and purpose, book a call on my website at mariaconaglero.com.
I think it's interesting, speaking on my own experience and others I know around me that have shared this, when you're firing on all cylinders, like when your body feels good, you feel you could take on the world. And I think as I get older in my career and I find myself there's a lot more deep thinking sometimes of what I'm doing. I have a hard time doing that if there's something bothering me physically, right? Ache or pain, or like you're worried about something. And it's just hard to focus. And so I've become a big fan. That's probably why that stupid thing keeps rolling on my screen all the time. But of all these, the gut health and drinking the right coffees and when you drink coffee and should you wait an hour and when you wake up in the morning and all that stuff. And I don't know how deep you guys go on that, but I understand how it's so all related. And for people that want to perform at their best, I would imagine those are the type of clients you're really speaking to.
Yeah. People who want to perform at their best, or everything's a journey. People who just know they can feel better or they don't feel like they used to feel, right? So some of what we do in wellness, in some areas, the country would be called functional medicine. And one of the things that we all really believe as providers is oftentimes people are very functional medicine inclined or traditional medicine inclined, right? And we believe that both are appropriate, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. But the idea is when you're experiencing depression in the middle of winter in Northeast PA, if you can come into wellness and we can take a look at all your blood work and raise your vitamin D and get you with some of our registered dietitians and work with you in a little bit more of a holistic way first, then, if that doesn't work, we're not saying for people who have significant depression problems that Prozac or an SSRI or something might not be necessary, but it's not one or the other. And so I think that's what people are really appreciating. Going back to Teresa practiced GI with my father for a really long time, and now she practices gut health. And what she loves about it is oftentimes with gastroenterology, it's your behaviors, but they don't come into the office until, again, now I have an acute problem. I have something where if she could have maybe gotten them, not for everyone, right? But certain people with certain symptoms 5 or 6 years earlier and taught them how to change some things, they would never have even ended up there. And diet is so important with gut health too. So it's really been great in kind of that bridge, like I said.
I think healthcare is changing so much.
Yeah.
And these hospitals and physicians' offices are so busy. It's really hard to get that one-on-one attention and looking at the full gamut of your whole wellness. So I think that now we have to be mostly our own healthcare advocates. I've just felt this way for myself, but also like family members. And there's so much more available than just the doctor. And I think just educating people on what is out there and what is available and what kind of support there is can really help them, because everybody is different. That's what I really believe.
100%.
I've had some weird health things going on. It's been months and months of just researching different things. What is it? What is going on? Because I'm 41 now. I never thought it would happen to me, but it happened to me. And I'm like, what is happening? And I just think it's wonderful that you're there and you have all of that available to people, no matter where they come in with whatever they're feeling. You can serve them on many different levels and only what they need and not what they don't.
Of course. And I think that's the vision, is to create the patient experience for the modern patient, right? So people are living longer. They're still going to need to go to their primary care, internal medicine. You need an antibiotic or whatever your situation is. You're managing high cholesterol, but then people do want to optimize their health and feel better. And then lots of people, women, men are a little bit later, especially in the Scranton area, into the aesthetics world. But women want to look a little bit better, or men, and just feel a little bit better about themselves. And we're really into natural beauty. That's our enhancing your natural beauty at any age, because we believe you don't want to look a different decade than you are, right? You want to just look good and feel good for where you are in life. And Dr. Horvath is all about natural enhancements and really stays on the cutting edge. So yeah, that's the idea, that it's a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Eventually. We're not there yet, but
aging gratefully. I love that saying.
Gratefully.
Instead of
That's
gracefully, aging
Yes,
gracefully.
exactly.
Aging is the privilege, and I don't think it has to be something we have to hide or be ashamed of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My mom always says every birthday, you can never complain about growing older. It's a privilege denied to many.
Aw.
And when you think about it, not to be sad, but it's gratitude.
My father was less subtle about it. He used to say, getting old is not for pansies.
Yeah.
So he didn't say pansies, but yeah, it's tough. And we see in our business, we have a lot of clients. A lot of our clients are retired, and they're either just retired and oftentimes taking care of their parents, or they're headed that way themselves, and their kids are trying to help square their lives away.
Yeah.
But looking good and feeling good everyone seems on track until that goes off the track, and then some people have a really hard time bringing it back.
Yeah.
So this intrigues me. Everything you're doing sounds great, that you're combining it all into one thing, like a one-stop shop to an extent. My question, I have a really random question, but
No, go ahead.
I think it's on topic. Supplements. I think everybody has that cabinet or drawer at their house, and you, as a man, I cry a little bit when I open it and I look at all these bottles they're not free. And we tried this for a month, but we got 3 months because it was cheaper. And now those 2 extra bottles. So like, I hear a lot of stuff about peptides, the BPC 157, NAD, and all that stuff. And it's just, if you're paying attention, then you're getting inundated with all that stuff. How do you guys work through it? Do you have people coming to you saying, I want BPC 157, or do they say, I'll just do whatever you say? Do you have to push back and say, wait, let's do this first?
Yeah, I would think people come with symptoms more so than the solution.
Okay.
Now, some people understand peptides, so they'll call, do you guys offer peptides, or do you offer? But oftentimes people, men and women, show up more with symptoms, and then it's what is the right treatments. But getting into the treatment zone, Dr. Horvath, who stays really on the cutting edge of everything with Teresa, they're the experts in that. So they will be very mad at me if I start talking about
That's a safe answer. I like that.
Yeah. But I will just share quickly, a lot of men and women in wellness, they present with what we hear is, I don't have the energy I used to have. I'm exhausted all the time. I can't concentrate. I have brain fog. For women, I can't lose this stubborn fat around my belly. My hormones are crazy and no one I'm going to will listen to, as Dr. Horvath will say, right? Even with sexual health, as you age, there's different issues that come up and people will come in obviously with those issues, but it's really about how it translates into your everyday. And that's what we try to do. And they always start with a really like a large panel of blood work. They have a long consultation. When you come into our office, you'll meet with them for an hour for the first time, and they'll talk to you about everything. And then the follow-up appointments are longer. So I will mention this. It's more so concierge medicine. So our wellness is not insurance-based.
Yeah,
it's
that was my next question.
fee-for-service. Yeah.
Okay.
And so is the aesthetics, because it has to be. You need to take all the time you can with the patients, and you really need to understand. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in primary care and internal medicine, but as you're saying, Maria, it's changing.
Yeah.
And people are a little bit annoyed with 20 minutes at their primary care, with their primary care physician. So I think concierge medicine, even for primary care and internal medicine, it's already happening across the country. And I think you're going to see it more and more because people just want more time with their doctor or their provider.
Yeah, it's definitely a trending way. Yeah.
You guys are really supportive when it comes to people's comfort zones and where they're at. You really meet people where they're at, and you don't force anything that they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, I think you treat people the way you want to be treated. That's when I come in, I want to talk about my issues or my concerns, and then I want someone to help me address those. I don't want them to tell me about 30 other things that are wrong with me if I didn't ask. As Dr. Horvath always says, when you're talking to people about their, especially women, and about their aesthetic features, it's very sensitive. And I think that's the wonderful thing with him being a plastic surgeon. He was not a plastic surgeon that just did, what you would think of as like breast augs and tummy tucks. He did full restoration. So if someone comes in from like a massive car accident or people are born with like growth defects, you're with these people in their most vulnerable state of their life. And that's what it's about. We want people to feel comfortable coming in, being who they are, and then meeting them where they are. So,
and let them leave feeling more of who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's our goal. And you try really hard with the patient experience, but I think all of our providers really care, and that shines through.
Yeah.
I hope it shines through.
I think it is.
Coming from a service industry, I relate to that 100%. Some of the best marketing you can ever do is just make someone walk out with such a great feeling. And one of the challenges we have when people come to us with their wealth management issues, a lot of times I feel like I'm at a doctor's office, like I'm admitting to you that I'm smoking or that I have this over here, that, and they feel very vulnerable. Yeah. I invested this and I lost a ton. And sometimes the spouse doesn't know that the other spouse did that. So stuff comes out. But one thing we've learned is we try to assess what's going on and we address the biggest rocks first and help them get a little relief, a little bit, okay, I'm starting to get on the right track again. And then there's probably a whole bunch of other flags sometimes we see, but we don't even talk about those because we're expecting to be with them for years and years. Exactly. We can talk about that next time, 6 months, whatever. And if you come in, and I did that early in my career, there's 10 things I can fix in your life. And they're like, I didn't know my life was broken.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly right.
And so I would imagine if I came in and say, what do you think about cosmetics? And if they said, here's 10 things wrong with your face, brother, I'd probably just get up and leave. Maybe a little fist fight. But anyway, so I totally relate to that.
I think that's true. And it's the same thing with finances. People come in, they're sharing all this. Everyone has their life story, right? And that's right. You're not going to overwhelm them. You want to build their trust and show them that you can help them and that you have solutions. And then obviously as an expert in your field, where it makes the most sense to start. And so I think when you come to us, especially for the aesthetics, it's what are you looking for? Are you looking for just a little refresh? Are you looking to really target a specific concern or area? Or do you want an entire, what we call enhanced 365, a plan for 365 days of the year? What would your aesthetic plan be? And some people want to know all of that. Doesn't mean you need to do it all, right? But they want they want him to really look at their face, talk about their issues, and have him say, you start with this, you could do this, but you're always building. And then, of course, in aesthetics and wellness and anything in health, it's a game of maintenance. It's habits.
Drink water.
You can't exercise once.
That's what I'm working on.
So it's really it's back to what you said it perfectly. It's meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
And then
I'm thinking of some sort of strategic partnership with my company and LMG to maybe we could do
The
financial wellness.
The salmon sperm facial. So they walk out looking radiant, whether they liked what we talked about or not.
Yeah.
They look great when they leave the
Hey, but financial wellness is a part of wellness.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, we had an event this year. Maria spoke. She was awesome. As a coach, we had different women from the community. It's a women event. And women, we had a psychologist there. We had a coach, but we had someone who's a financial planner there because your finances keep you up.
Yeah,
your finances create anxiety. And it really is a part of wellness.
Yeah. You're preaching to the
hey.
I knew you two
I don't
would
know
get
if it's
along.
going to involve salmon sperm, but we might be able to do something.
Thank you. That's on the teaser reel right there. I love it. All right. I have a deep question for you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We can stop because you probably get mad at me for asking. What is like a big challenge that you had? Was there a heavy lift when you came in, or was that the agreement with when you came into the business, like just keep us on the path we are and help us get better? Or was it like we need to do some big changes? Or was it like we're going after a new market? Like
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think transformation and change is always the biggest challenge. And my experience in the customer office, I always go back to that because I learned, I don't think I could really have gotten much done here without all my years of experience. I'll say that for sure. You're not born knowing these things, right? You're in environments where you learn them and you're around people who are brilliant at different things. And so you pick up on them. But wait, what was the question again? I get so sidetracked.
That's okay. What was one of your bigger challenges?
Oh, yeah, I think in business, people always want to know exactly where they're going on everything. And they don't want to make decisions until they feel 100%. And the bottom line I would say that I've learned is always progress over perfection, because really good business people, and when you read, they start and then they pivot. And especially in markets like today, right? So I think it's knowing how to get started, marry the vision, date the methods. I think I learned that like testing and learning, failure is okay. This is something that I think I really learned in especially in the customer office and in corporate America. People do not talk about failure enough in business. It is like the rite of passage to most things. And so if you're not failing at all.
Right. Is that progress?
Yeah. And when I say failing, people are so like scared of the word. It's not, it's a temporary thing, right? It's like fail forward. Right. What did I learn? Something might have worked. What didn't? And how do I move forward? So I think it hasn't been one specific challenge. It's been challenges from all different areas.
Yeah. Avoid the catastrophic failures.
Yes. Right. Learn from others.
Yeah. So as your wealth builds, so does the amount of pressure that surrounds you, right? Maybe your income is still higher than ever and your business has more revenue than ever, but you're also thinking about your family, your employees, and their families. debts that you need to pay off, taxes that you want to minimize, cash flows to track, all while trying to stay excellent at your job and innovative within your industry. Our team at Stonehouse helps you manage your personal wealth, whether it's in your retirement plan, your business, or any other place. While you're busy out there conquering the world and trying to take care of others, don't forget about taking care of yourself. Contact Stonehouse to see how we can help make your life better. A lot of what you do as a business owner and manager is risk assessment.
Yes.
There are some real risks out there that could literally knock everybody down.
Yep.
And you can't get up from. Make sure you avoid those. You got things in place. But all the other stuff is try it. Trial balloons. Let's go try this. Let's alpha test this, beta test this, whatever, and see what works. And today's world changes so fast.
And I think the way that you avoid the really huge failures, or at least this is what I try to do, is you bring in specialists. If you're a small business, you can't hire full-time everyone you need, but you can find really smart people who are specialists. So right now, we have an accountant that we've had forever, but I brought in a fractional CFO.
Yep.
He's excellent because I really wanted sound financial storytelling. That's like a big thing in corporate America. It's you've got to be able to tell me the financial story in a page, and then we'll get deep, not 35 pages. So he's been instrumental. We obviously marketing partners. Definitely, we have visions of the brand, but you have to collaborate with really smart people who know marketing. Legal counsel, people you have to pay for these people. The biggest mistake people make is not paying for specialists and trying to do it themselves. That's where I think people really can make some significant mistakes. That's what, at least my experience. I'm not talking for everyone, but find the specialists.
Yeah.
We brought in family business consultants. They've been excellent. They specialize in family business because it is a dynamic. And then as you bring in other physicians, and there's a lot that needs to change.
That's great.
That's great advice.
Yeah, because you have not just you have siblings. It's not just your dad.
Yeah, their siblings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Most of my family has touched this business at one point of time or the other in lots of different ways, including my mom, who doesn't formally work there. Behind every great man is a wonderful woman. My dad got really lucky with my mom, but we've brought her in on a lot of things because she just has a really high emotional intelligence and she knows the family the best.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're preaching to the choir again.
Yeah.
My wife has nothing to do officially with Stonehouse, but she has been the sounding board more than anybody I've talked to.
yeah.
Yeah. She's not always right, but most of the time.
No one's always.
This is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But she comes
There's
at it
no
from
one
a
who's
different
always
angle.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what, like, just little things like, I think as you begin to grow, you're probably experiencing this. You're solo. I don't know how you do solo on it. That's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, it is.
But when you're growing a team, when you want to institute some sort of change and you feel passionate that this is the way forward, rather than announce it to everybody at once, you want to go to the people who in your office you think are going to either get on or get off of this. If they're not going to get on, you want to talk to them about why you believe in it and see if you can get them on board. If you can get them on board, then when you announce it, everybody tends to look at those people and see, is this person on board? And if you've done that pre-work, smart man I'm on a board with for 20 years now taught me that the work for the board meetings, it's done way ahead of the board meeting. And you talk to the people who are really knowledgeable in that subject matter and get them either on board or work through it and you find a solution so that when it gets to the board and everybody goes to vote on it, they all look to those people.
Yeah.
And so
Of
that's
course.
part about managing a business as you start growing. The personalities come in.
Well, it's so much. There's a lot of nuance
Yeah.
to business, and it's just so dynamic because it's always changing. So I have a question for both of you. This is one of my.
I'm sorry, this mic is your mic just cut out. No, go ahead.
So I always like to know who's someone in business that you really admire and why.
Ooh.
I have a bunch of
I do
people.
too.
Yeah. For me, one of my go-tos would be Bill Rourke. He just does a lot up here. He's got a good story. He was actually the first guy I interviewed on the podcast before it was this.
Uh-huh.
And just what he's achieved, taken over from what his dad did, but then he took things to different levels and has had success in a lot of areas. And I'm sure he's had a lot of failures. But what I like about Bill is he's super community-minded. So he's an opportunist, and because when you start to gain a level of success, and then people start to come at you with ideas.
Yeah, of course.
And so he has seen some good opportunities, taken advantage of those in a way that not only is good for him, putting in businesses that our area needs, and then what I think is the missing factor that a lot of business people have is he gives a lot back to the community. He does a ton for the community. That's
so
actually
important.
where I met him by
It's
being
so
on board. So
important.
yeah, he's. If I would say I don't know if I want to give him the credit of being my business hero, but I definitely, I look up to him, and I've gone to him for different things in the past, and he's got some great advice.
Yeah.
For me, I have to say my parents.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
small business,
Yeah.
small family business too. My dad was third generation in the restaurant business. And my mom actually came from entrepreneur. She grew up in a soda factory.
Oh.
And we weren't as close with that
didn't know
family.
that.
Yeah. But I grew up in the family restaurant. So did my grandfather, and my great grandfather started it. So I've learned a lot about business just from growing up in it. And I think for me, it's just do the right thing, treat everyone the same. My grandfather always used to say, I don't care if the president of the United States walks in or the farmer down the road, we're going to treat everybody the same. And yeah, I've learned the most about business from my family, but also my clients.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
I started my design business 13 years ago. And so I have had the greatest luxury of getting to know people like you and many others in nonprofits, in large businesses, and small businesses. And I've heard about their challenges, and I've heard about their wins, and I've heard about their struggles. And I think I've learned from every single one of them. So I've been in a really fortunate spot in my life to be inspired by so many. Yeah.
So boomerang.
Yeah. Your turn.
What's your answer?
I feel so fortunate. I've had the opportunity to work with so many inspiring men and women. I've been told I ask too many people, I get too many people's perspectives. And to me, you cannot get enough perspective from smart people. Then you can take a little bit of what you want and figure out what's right. But so many people have been through so many things. And I would say through this, there's local business people that we've had relationships with that have helped me so much. And people want to help. I'll tell that to anyone who's in business out there. Find people. They love to have conversations. They love to share their story. You can bring to them different challenges you're having. So I've been really fortunate. I've had a lot of mentors, and I've learned from all of them. I think someone who I only met briefly, but like big time, if we think of national success, Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx.
Yep.
I really admire her. And I always loved her story. And I was fortunate that I got to go to a conference where she was the speaker, and there was only about 75 other women in aesthetics there. She is so real. You can feel it. You can just feel her authenticity. And afterwards, she met with every single person, said hi to them, took pictures. Like really, you could just tell she just is who she is. And the other thing about her is that she talks a lot about is how Wayne Dyer, do you guys know Wayne Dyer? He was like, he's a mindset guy. He's like the guru, like the grandfather of like mindset. And how she started to listen to all of his tapes from the time she was a teenage girl. And her father was the one that said, look, if I knew all of this, my life would be so different.
Yeah.
So start listening. And she's an incredible story.
I love that. I
Yeah.
do follow her.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
I learned about her in a different way. her husband.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jesse Itzler.
He wrote a book, or it was an audio book I listened to, and he It was like 30 days with a seal or something. He paid, I'm sure it was a hefty penny, David Goggins. Do you know who David Goggins is? He's a former Navy SEAL. He's crazy fitness guy and all that stuff. And he hired him to be his trainer for 30 days or 60 days. And it was just a funny book because like he's married to Sarah Blakely, and like he gets into his penthouse and at 10 o'clock at night, and they come home from a party, and there's David Goggins like in the corner just sitting there in the dark. He's like, let's go, we're going on a run. And it was like a whole bunch, like every day it was like, and we need to get this guy out of our house. But I think he stayed the whole time. But it was a fun read. And I was like, I know that name, Sarah Blakely. And then I realized that's Spanx.
So for people who don't, she started Spanx. She's the first made, I think, billionaire, billionaire, self-made. Yeah. She never had any funding. But this is why I like her. She was on the cover of, I don't know, Newsweek, Time, and it was like her with her hands up, and it said billions. And she was on Instagram, and she showed a story how she went in, and like she has a bunch of kids or whatever, and the sons were taking a cockroach and smashing her face in the Newsweek to kill this bug. She's like, you work your whole life for something, and your kids will just humility handed to you on a platter.
Oh, that's funny.
I can see you. You kind of remind me of that, Sarah Blakely. I don't know what it is about you, your demeanor, because you're making it up as you go, but you've got a lot of. I think you need to research, and you sounds like I love you. So I support you in that. Like you're getting too many resources or input.
Yeah.
I think you need that.
Yeah.
You ultimately got to make some decisions, right?
Yeah.
But an interesting thing the other day we were talking about this, and you know how I was having this conversation with my family. You are, what is the saying? You are like the 5 closest people in your life, combination of all those people. And I feel like in today's world, it doesn't have to be 5 people. It could be 6, 7, or 8 or whatever. But I feel like that other person you can create on your own by what you're consuming in social media. Because we all do that, right? I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's a lot about business, a lot about personal and how to motivate others around you and stuff. I feel like that is my other influence. And I think I do listen to and watch some stuff that I probably shouldn't, but it doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me real.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sometimes I just watch a comedian and I'm like laughing at stuff I probably shouldn't laugh at, but it's so funny.
Important.
Yes.
But it's not all motivational stuff, but that stuff, it influences me. Like the next day, my office knows me well enough when I come in and I'm like, all right, we're going to change the world today. Like they can see it on my face, even if it's a video call. They're like, all right, hit me.
What did Bob watch this weekend?
Yeah, some of that stuff stuck though, so that's good.
Yeah. So it is funny because that aesthetic conference, I will tell you this, I walked into this, it was an aesthetic conference where women didn't really know each other going. And I walk into this room and I'm like, oh, these people are staring at me. I'm like, what is going on here? And then I'm like, shh. I had 5 people come up to me that night. They're like, are you Sarah Blakely? I'm like, no, I am not Sarah Blakely.
All right. You looked at me like I had 3 heads when I said that.
No, I was laughing because.
That's so funny.
Yes. No. Sorry.
How about that?
Just once you need to go. Yes, I am.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
Okay. What haven't we asked you about that you were thinking we should?
Oh, gosh.
Whether it's personal or business or LMG.
How about maybe laughter? We just talked about laughter. So I think it's really important I need to laugh more. That's one of my goals this year, and to get my team laughing more. Because laughter's so healing. It really is.
I do free stand-up if you want it. It's all day long. That's the most you'll laugh right there. It stops right there.
One thing I would talk about that you haven't asked me about, I guess, is I think when you talk about the community, I think small businesses have such an opportunity to impact so many lives, not only through what their service is or their purpose is, but through the employees that work for them. So I just read something that your manager is as responsible or for your mental health, not responsible, you're always responsible for your own mental health, but as much as your spouse. And I think that healthy cultures are really important to me, and you can really make a difference. Like we have a lot of single moms that work for us, and they'll bring their daughters when there's a snow day. I get it. And we will be flexible. And if you, it all starts by treating your employees really well. I just think that's really important. And that's a lesson I got from both my parents, but my father especially in business. He'll give the shirt off his back for any patient or any employee. And so I think it's really an opportunity, because when you raise people and when you inspire people and you give them a good work environment, you allow them to make more money, you allow them to be a healthier parent, you allow them to be a better friend. And it really is.
It's a ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect. And I think that people should never underestimate how much positive change you can have. Not that any work environment's perfect and there's issues and there's this, but I'm always one, like, collaboration, the competition's on the outside, right? And also I'm someone who I'm a big believer in, like, the power of teaming. No one's brilliant in all areas. Don't focus on trying to get people's weaknesses better. Just find someone else who's good at that. And people do so much better if you try and help them find their brilliance.
I love that.
So I guess that's
it.
I love my team. And I think that's one thing that I'm proud of my family for. And I hope, that all of our employees really feel like we really, truly value them for what they do and who they are as individuals.
I love that.
Yeah. I like the idea of people. A lot of times our small business owners think within the confine of their business. And you can have some great talent in your business, but in today's world, a lot of times people want something that you're only a piece of the solution.
Yeah.
And you feel like I either need to bring it on or I can't offer that at all. But you can just simply find your complementary businesses in your area that you vet and trust and say, when I have somebody that needs you, I'm going to, and then vice versa would be great. That reciprocal referral is fantastic. We make a living on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the clients, the customers, the clients, the patients love it.
And it's value alignment, right? You find people that are aligned to your values.
Yeah.
And then there's so much, right? Rising tides lift all boats.
But businesses change. So you need to also listen to the feedback coming from those clients or patients you referred. Did you get a good ride or not?
Exactly.
And you have to be, don't be afraid to contact that business and say, hey, what happened with Mr. So-and-so?
Absolutely. You always have to have feedback. And you're never going to get it right 100% of the time.
No.
I think you think about places like, I don't know, the Ritz-Carlton, or they have made a luxury business out of figuring out how to get it right 75% of the time, but then going above and beyond and creating raving fans from their mistakes.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
it's an interesting vibe. And I don't know about your pricing or anything like that, but we think about, sometimes I've gone with my family to a restaurant and you pay the bill at the end and you add the tip in, you're just like, my gosh. I turn it to my father. I'm like, when I was a kid, this would have, you could buy a house for this, whatever. Yeah. And then we went out to a big trip last summer and we went to the most expensive steakhouse I've ever been a part of. And my son just kept saying to me, like, this is going to kill you, Dad. This bill is going to kill you. Right? And we got it. And it was insanely expensive. You know what? It was so worth it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Everything since the moment you walked in the door was just concierge. Just, what do you need? Hey, why don't I put this and this dish together? I'll have the chef bring you out a combo. And the chef coming out to the table and asking you, how's everything going? It's just, and you're looking around and you're like, yeah, this is what it's like.
Well, how did you feel when you left?
I wanted to tell everybody to go there. I know you don't want to go there every week, but that's definitely worth the experience. And I felt good. Yeah. And I felt like that food was top-notch food. And it was great.
Experiences to me are so much more worth the money than like a bracelet or a purse. Yeah. For me, everyone has their thing. But you share them with other people, or even if there's something you're doing for yourself. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, it adds value, I think, on the inside, which is just endless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are like right around an hour. I don't know how much
Wow.
time you have, but we usually somewhere in 10 or 15 minutes wrap it up. But if you have, drop some knowledge on us. What do we need to
She
know that
has
we haven't?
been.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
she's
But
been dropping lots
she's
of
like, what more do you
knowledge.
want?
I mean,
I didn't mean it
hopefully
that
I
way.
stayed on Main Street. I'm one of these people where I can get off Main Street really
No,
easy.
you're good.
And
Let
then
me
you
ask
have to
you
be
this.
like, back to Main Street.
Let me ask you this. For LMG, what's the next 5 to 10 years look like? Like, where do you think you're going? We're just building out on what you have, or are there some big things on your horizon that you're...
So I think we're going to continue to build, and I think we're going to continue to provide exceptional care and continue to learn and hopefully just see patients and help them live better, fuller, healthier, more confident lives. And I think if we could do that, hey, my dad's small. This business has made it 40 years. We're probably one of the only privately held internal medicine primary care practices, because the larger healthcare systems, it's hard.
Yeah, gobble them up.
Yeah. It's hard. One day at a time, right? As I tell everyone, we're just hoping that we can do well by our patients and help our community.
Yeah, I think you're doing awesome. You're staying ahead of the curve. You're staying up to date with medical, wellness, holistic practices, cosmetics. Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's amazing what you're doing there. I'm very
It's a
inspired.
team effort. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's every single solitary person. And we've come a long way. We've been through a lot of change, and we have a long way to go, but we're going to keep going.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Beyond the Bottom Line. Thank you for listening. If this conversation sparked something for you, please let us know. Follow, share, or leave a review. It helps us keep having the conversations we love that you love to listen to. We'll be back in 2 weeks with more real talk from real leaders. Until then, here's to feeling successful beyond the bottom line.